What is up, everybody? It is your boy, Mean Dean, here with the KliqPodcast. Welcome to Smackdown Live Review. It is June 12th, Tuesday. Back again for this week. Again, filling in for my boy JG. Doing his birthday thing this week. Then we got Father's Day coming up Sunday, so that's crazy for all you fathers out there. Hit it up! I happen to be a father of gangster rap, a father of time, a godfather, if you will, Ho Train excluded. You know, just some fun father stuff. I was initially going to rock my son's Zelda hat. It's leather and shiny and has a metal emblem. It's pretty dope. In the event of E3, as that's what we're going through. And my mic keeps, slowly moving down. You know the things you have to deal with, right? First world problems. Let's give that a shot. Perfect. Hey! Mr. Me Dean here with you. Check us out, as always, Monday nights and Tuesday nights. Monday night for Raw Review, Tuesday night for Smackdown Live Review. Always check my man JJ out. He's typically doing those. I'm filling in for him again. Happy birthday, happy belated birthday to JG. And tonight's going to be a little bit of a piggyback on last night's review. I haven't done this in a long time, as I had mentioned, and I was up till 1 o'clock in the morning trying to get this video up. So that was fun. Super good time. I fell asleep with the computer on, still rendering. So, you're welcome. Oh, see, son of a bitch. You put it closer. Anyway, I hope you all got a chance to check out SmackDown Live tonight. I actually thought it was a pretty good event. All the way up to the end. We'll kind of have that discussion. I'm not going to go off on too many tangents tonight because apparently rendering a 51-minute video takes hours on my slow computer. On that note, check us out on Patreon. Throw us a couple bucks. Couple dollars a posting, that's what we do. We only post about 2 or 3 things a month, so you're really only paying a few bucks a month. And if we get enough people to subscribe to us on Patreon, we can get our equipment fixed. I like my mic, but it's attached to a TV tray. First world problems, right? Man. Check us out on Patreon. Check us out on Podomatic.com. This goes all the way back to February of last year. Check out all of our old stuff. It's amazing. It's really stupid, but it's amazing. Check us out on YouTube, as always, right here. Check out all of our videos, basically. I think if I'm not mistaken, we're over 100 now at this point. Check us out on Twitch. I'm always on Twitch. I'm always broadcasting on Twitch. I haven't been last night and tonight because I've been doing this broadcast and preparing for this, but usually always on Twitch, always streaming. I did watch the update for E3. I'm not going to get too far into it, but I will tell you right now that with the games coming out, and I'm a PlayStation guy, it's the PlayStation family, for all you haters, I'm really excited to play The Last of Us, the new Resident Evil 2, things like that, so I'm really excited for that. It makes me inspired to play some older games. So I'm definitely going to stream some older games on Twitch. In fact, after I'm done with the Bully Trophy run, I'm probably going to go to The Last of Us. I've never played it all the way through. I've gotten a fair chunk through. So I think I might be doing that before the new one comes out. Anyway, Tuesday night SmackDown Live. Not a bad show. Honestly, it wasn't a bad show. It started with all the competitors for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match in the ring and Paige. Now, I'm sitting here thinking immediately to myself, it's not going to be good, okay? And the reason why I thought that is because Monday Night Raw gave me PTSD based on unscripted trash talking. And I already discussed that. Go back and check out my Monday Night Raw review. It's dope. So, immediately I'm like, well, this isn't going to turn out good. Paige was in there. Paige knows how to talk. Paige knows how to act. That's fine. Charlotte can talk. Becky's okay. Naomi and Lana suck. Now, as they started doing their back and forth, I was like, this isn't too bad. automatically, if I realize, or if I figure this is improvisational, they're actually doing a much better job than Raw. That was my thought. So the Iconics come out and interrupt. They start making fun of every girl in there based on their, I wouldn't call it ethnicity, because that would be racial. It was more of their stereotypical character type, like Charlotte's the queen, and Becky's I can't even do the accent. It was actually really entertaining. There are very few times when the fans are not engaged that I stay engaged. And I'm talking few. For some reason, the Iconics had me on this one. Because nobody was biting. And I thought it was actually pretty entertaining. They made Becky Lynch sound like some botched out rag whore from Ireland. It was really funny. And then, of course, the Queen tea, blah, 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 blah thing for Charlotte. And the Naomi thing was actually pretty entertaining because they're trying to, I guess, emulate what she does. That's pretty funny. And then out comes Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. They start fighting. And it was kind of strange because in the midst of them fighting, it just cut to Michael Cole, or not Michael Cole, but Corey Graves and, Phillips and Saxton. I don't know why it cut to that when there's clearly a brawl happening. So did they all just kind of like stop and dust each other off and like just walk to the back? Because there was no commotion after that. It was weird. It was kind of strange, but anyway. It was okay. It was not a bad start. I can tell you right now that with the exception of the last match, I had no problem with any match on this card. No problem. The first match, Shelton Benjamin versus Daniel Bryan. This was a very good match. They didn't need all the Twitter stuff that Daniel Bryan was saying, like, they need some sort of support beef before the match. That's not the case when you can get two talented technicians in there to do their job. Shelton Benjamin's been around the block, okay? He's been in Ring of Honor, he's been in all these places. Daniel Bryan has been on the independent scene, Ring of Honor. They have a very good rapport together. They know the wrestling style that they have, and they exploit each other, and sometimes it's very similar. So, what I really like, though, is I like the mean streak Shelton Benjamin. I really thought the way he limb targeted was really cool. The single leg crab, throwing Daniel on his knee on the table. I thought it was a really good match. Daniel Bryan ended up getting the dub, and we move on. What I thought was really strange is when they went to the back, Miz was doing some stupid thing, as he always does. And, how do I put this? Paige came back there, and they had a really good rapport at first. It was like, he's doing a roll, he has a ref shirt on. It's like, you should put me in the match with Samoa Joe and Rusev as the referee. And she's like, you know what? I know you're going to sabotage everything, you're going to beat him up before the pay-per-view, and you're going to stir the pot. So no, we're not doing that. And then she's like, you know what I will do, though? I'm going to make you referee the Samoa Joe Rusev match. And he's like, oh, that's what I wanted. And I was like, what? What? That's exactly what he asked for. Next match, Samoa Joe and Rusev, also I thought was a pretty damn good match. And sometimes, okay, let me take it back just a smidge before I get too off track. There was one thing that resonated with me years ago, 2010, 11. Chris Jericho said, I don't know who's working at TNA, but they don't know how the fuck to book their matches, or their weeks, or their pay-per-views for that matter. And I thought their booking was pretty damn good back then, with the exception of a few things like, I don't want to see Matt Morgan versus Jeff Hardy for the world title 3 pay-per-views in a row to headline. That just gets old. There's no additional stipulation anywhere. But now when I look back on today's WWE product, they do not know how to market anything. Rusev and Samoa Joe is a very marketable rivalry by itself. By itself. You got an anti-hero, heel type guy and Samoa Joe, a bona fide badass. You got Rusev, who is still a very good badass, but also has his shtick on the side. You got Aiden English, who I don't care for. Honestly, that's just my opinion. I could care less about Aiden English. And yet somehow I feel like he would fit in that rivalry. I just think there's a lot of things that sell themselves that they try to complicate things too much. Like, let's give it to everybody for free on Smackdown. Why? Why? Sounds kind of ridiculous. But I'm definitely not ashamed to admit it was a good match. I thought both of them did a great job. I was surprised that Rusev won. I thought that was great. And at the ending of SmackDown, I'll kind of make the comparison between this match and the end of SmackDown. But then you had Rusev try to climb the rat. Yeah. You had Rusev try to climb the ladder. Got it. It is Money in the Bank, right? Not Survivor Series. You had Rusev try to climb the ladder, and then Miz comes in, hits his finisher, and then he climbs the ladder. So it's hard for me to tell in this moment who's going to win that match. Between the SmackDown and Raw guys, there's a lot of great talent in there. Match number 3, Shinkse Nakamura versus Jeff Hardy. Again, I can't say enough about how good the matches were tonight, with the exception of the last one. But it was really good. Honestly, I thought it was a really good match. Jeff Hardy and Shinsuke are both entertainers, really. And Shinsuke did great with Jeff Hardy. And one of my notes on there was like, I just can't believe, just out of context, out of the match, how Jeff Hardy competes at the level he competes at this age, at this time. That's insane to me. If you haven't seen his highlights, go look him up. Because most people, let's compare Jeff Hardy to Mick Foley. Let's just say that, comparatively. 2 different styles, same end result, sort of. I mean, basically, you have Mick Foley being speared through flaming tables and thrown off Hell in Cells. Japanese death matches with Terry Funk and barbed wire ropes and, bombs and all these crazy, crazy things. And also one of the smartest guys in wrestling ever, right? Not just about wrestling, about a lot of things. And you have Jeff Hardy, who has an opposite personal side with the drugs and all these other things, but similar path. You got Jeff Hardy jumping off of everything he can, scaffolding and buildings and semi-trucks and just anything you really jump off of. You talk about falling off cages. Well, Jeff Hardy's been pushed off the top of cages to land on the steel steps. And just brutal. A lot of brutality. And he could still go in there and, dare I say, steal the show on SmackDown with Shinsuke. It's pretty damn cool. I've always been a big Hardy fan. More than Edge and Christian. I'm a bigger Dudley fan, only because I think the Dudleys are the greatest tag team ever. And if you don't agree, put something in the comment, bitches. For real. Dudleys are the best tag team ever. Say something. Say something about it here. I don't know exactly, but it's like here or maybe here. It's definitely down there. Down where? You got it. Winner Jeff Hardy, and it was all because of DQ. You gotta get that Shinsuke low blow. A lot of people don't like that, and I don't really give a shit, honestly. I think it's new. It's new. I mean, Shinsuke basically loses all of his matches by disqualification, which I think is fucking awesome. I mean, come on, like, who wants to do that? Who wants to lose matches? We're about... See, I'm getting hot again. Easy now, Mean Dean. We're about to embark on this great journey for KliqPod and the KliqPodcast, KliqPod Inc., KliqPod Gaming. We're going to be doing this fantasy wrestling draft. and losses weigh on this thing. That's what's so great about this, is because you have to use a predictability. So if somebody goes out and gets a Shinkse, great. Because Shinsuke's fucking awesome, and he'll probably go pretty high. But can you take the negative points for loss? He loses a lot. Just a thought. Man, I'm rhyming today. You can find me in the club. The last match, 10 person, 5-team, 5-on-5 women's tag match. I mean, it's a product of Teddy Long. So what SmackDown is known for. I don't know why they go back to the roots all the time. It's like, shit, we couldn't really finish with Shinsuke and Jeff Hardy, so, like, we're totally going to do women's. And I don't have a problem with that, but make it meaningful. The end of the go-home show needs to be meaningful. Always. It wasn't necessarily on Raw. Well, it was. It was meaningful because you had the competitors in there who were basically destroying each other. It's just tough, it's tough because there wasn't much meaning. Now, here's where I need to get into the whole ending of SmackDown versus Samoa Joe thing and Rusev. When it comes to Raw, Braun Strowman was literally put so far over that it is nearly impossible for him to lose the match. And if he does, it's just going to confuse people. I'd love to see Finn. I'd love to see, I'd love to see Braun. I'd love to see all these guys, any guy on the Raw, any guy on the SmackDown roster I'd like to see, with the exception of whichever member of the New Day. I don't know. Anyway, but my point is that it was clear who's going to win the men's on the Raw side. It is not very clear who could possibly dethrone that on the SmackDown side. Do I think SmackDown's going to win? Absolutely. In both categories, and here's why. Number one, that looks funny. Anyway, number one, WWE struck a deal with Fox to get SmackDown on there. So I'd be damned to see WWE roll in to a Fox contract where ratings rule Fox. Fox gets rid of shows like that. Fox will get rid of them if they're not pulling ratings. They have to hit. So why wouldn't they get both Money in the Banks? You have plenty of stars on Raw to really write the story, for those who can write. So I'd be surprised if Braun lost. But the way they played it on SmackDown was almost the complete opposite. Whereas on Raw, they made Braun look so big that he just couldn't. He was so over that he couldn't lose. He can't lose at Money in the Bank. Rusev winning against Samoa Joe, and then The Miz taking the thing. I could totally see The Miz doing it, but I really think Samoa Joe's going to take it. Look at it this way. Dean Ambrose is likely going to stay on Raw, and he will likely screw Raw entirely out of the Money in the Bank. My prediction is that Dean Ambrose is going to come back and screw Raw, namely Braun Strowman, out of the Money in the Bank ladder match, which could rub people the wrong way. But I'd love to see heel Dean come back. Big on heel Dean against a super over face and Strowman. Great story already. I think Samoa Joe's going to take it. But then when you look at the contrast to the women's at the end of SmackDown, at the end of it, with the whole match, Asuka put out Carmella, so she beat the champ. Carmella sulked and she left. And then the four women who are actually in the Money in the Bank match circled Asuka and stared at the briefcase like they were giving away the fucking finish. So now I wholeheartedly believe that Asuka's going to be champion. As much as I think Carmella can still hang. and that somebody from the women's is going to cash in on Asuka. Who? Definitely not going to be Charlotte. Definitely not Naomi. Okay, maybe Naomi. Definitely not Lana. I very much think that Becky Lynch is going to win the women's Money in the Bank. I think Sasha was at such a high level that every time she fucks up, it's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you don't even deserve to be in these matches anymore. And I love Sasha Banks. I think she's amazing. Again, part of her and Bayley, part of the greatest women's match in 10, 20 years. I mean, I get emotional watching it. Like, that's because it's such a big moment, right? And that's crazy. That sucks because, and I don't really see Alexa doing it. But then again, if there's anybody on Raw that I could see winning, it's definitely not going to be Ember Moon. She's too green. It could be Alexa or it could be Becky Lynch. Those are my two picks. But for the men's, definitely Samoa Joe. This whole Shinsuke AJ thing is going to end. And whoever's left with the belt is going to have to take on Joe. And I fucking love it. Samoa Joe has been my favorite wrestler since 2006. Since I switched over to TNA and stopped watching WWE. Samoa Joe is Samoa Joe is 1A to my AJ Styles 1B when it comes to this generation of wrestling. As far as favorites. I love it. I love the idea of Samoa Joe holding the title. So, think about that. Comment. I mentioned it. It's somewhere in there. Tell us your predictions. Tell us what you think about the review. Tell us what you think about KliqPodcast. If you slang us bullshit, we're just going to cut you out anyway, so it doesn't matter. Check us out on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, Podomatic, iTunes, Stitcher. Check us out on YouTube right here, where we are right now. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a subscribe. Anywhere you can. Check us out on Patreon if I didn't mention that. Throw us a few checks. That'd be awesome. I didn't say checks, I said checks, like as in shekels. We breathe here. We're awesome. Check us out. I also may be doing some Facebooking and some tweeting about NXT tomorrow night. And I will definitely cover some Facebook and Twitter predictions on Saturday because that is going to be a fucking amazing event. Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, Chicago Street Fight, all where the whole thing started with DIY. I cannot wait. Go Ciampa. Love Ciampa. That's it for us, Mr. Mean Dean, and the absent but belated birthday boy, Mr. JG. We out.